Next up, we have Alepsis Taura from the Remnant to Dark Horizon, the Dark Horizon soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, make sure you join the Discord server, the gaming channel. How to request songs if you're not on the live stream. You have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. With that, let's do this. Alepsis Taura. Let's go. Oh, I see, Megumi. I see. And Yark, welcome today. How you doing? You like orchestras? I love orchestra so much that I've written 3 songs with orchestra. Yeah. And Pork, congratulations. Welcome to the Nautilus. Requests are not open. Let me just EXO2. There we go. So, we have now, this is not where I thought the Remnant soundtrack was going to go to, because Remnant, for those of you who know, is Dark Souls with guns, basically. So we have this synth giving us an initial arpeggio. I just want to hear more. Let me just hear a bit more. Okay, so we have this synth going on. We have a bass synth giving us this really cool melody. Fairly rare for it to be in the bass, but it's in the bass, which is going to be our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. And nice, Yar. Yeah, the Ultra Kill is difficult. We're now having this very cool sci-fi, like retro sci-fi drums as well. We're having another synth giving us a little bit of accompaniment with some arpeggios. So, arpeggio is when you play a chord one note at a time. So for example, here is C minor, here it is arpeggiated. So we're having that happening, and then of course this is happening in the accompaniment. Accompaniment is when you have, sorry, I wasn't reading the chat. I should not have done that. I should not read the chat while I'm streaming. So accompaniment is whatever does not have the lead, whatever does not have the spotlight. So whatever is not doing the main melody or the motif or anything like that, or the main focus is going to be in the accompaniment. This of course can change at any point depending on which instrument you want to give the lead. So let's see where this goes. Variation. Monster sound right there, very nice. Oh, we also have a bell. We are also having like a bell with the drums as well, giving us a bit of extra texture. Let's see where this goes. Really cool. Really cool, exploring that motif. Like the Terraria style, very much, yeah, this is really cool. Alright, we switch over. Okay, so now we switch over to our orchestra. So let me bring up the image of the orchestra once again. We get the NEC Philharmonic again. So now we bring in our horn section, our brass section. So the brass section is going to be your trumpets, your trombones, your tuba. It seems like in this case we're having the trombones and the tuba, giving us that good old Hans Zimmer boom kind of thing, right? Like it's really, really cool. We're now doing this really cool mix between the orchestral and the electronic, which of course is a beautiful thing that if you can do it right, to get that mix between the old and the new. So let's see where this is going. Thank you for hanging out, Frenzy. Let's see where this goes. That's the strings. A little bit of silence. Ooh. I like this. I like this. So you see that moment of static. It gave us the impression that we were gonna have a crescendo. That we were gonna have this bombastic soundtrack continue, but instead we had a very soft, just very, very lovely, very soft synth. Very high up, giving us a very stripped down version of the motif. I read Remnant as pregnant for some reason. Well, MSM Kuman, welcome today. How you doing? And you know, you read what you want to read, okay? Let's see where this goes. Monster sounds, okay. Variation of the melody. Oh, we're having that in the background. Ooh. Okay, so we're bringing in a couple more more elements. Of course, we're having the brass instruments, giving us those really cool things, those really cool hits. We bring in a new percussion. It sounds to be like a snare with a couple of other drums. We're having the arpeggiation coming back. All of them slowly increasing in volume. Not quite a crescendo, just turning up the volume. Let's see where this goes. It's really cool. Oh, we gotta, okay, so things are changing really quickly. So we're having this this rhythm happening, you know, we're having this bass drum keeping up with this arpeggiation that we're doing, and really cool in general. We speed things up with an accelerando, which now is, I didn't know we had... yeah, by the way, we have the stream avatars. I turned them on. I downloaded a couple of texture packs. I have no idea what we're doing, right? My enemies can't know what I'm doing if I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so... so we're having this going on. Really cool. We are now accelerating the piece together. Let me go back a couple of seconds. Let's see where it goes. You're so welcome today. How you doing? Speeding it up. Interesting. So while everybody else is speeding up, the drums are slowing down to the rhythm of a heartbeat. Everything else is speeding up. Everything else is speeding up. But the drums are slowing down to the heartbeat. Very cool thematically. Very cool thematically. Because, you know, these kinds of games, you know, Souls-likes, you gotta keep your cool. So, and whenever you get those types of sounds of like a heartbeat or something like that, it's always that moment of focus. You have to focus, kind of thing. So really cool. We've done some Helldivers. Yeah, we've done some Helldivers. So yeah, let's see where this goes. This is really cool. There we go. There's... Oh my god! Okay, so we bring in new variation of those arpeggios that we're having, and now the drums are helping us engage in a polyrhythm. A polyrhythm, as the name suggests, is multiple rhythms happening at the same time that would clash. That would usually clash, but that clash is what gives it such a cool sound. On top of that, we are having the violin sections, one of the violin sections, engaging, doing what we call some pizzicato. Pizzicato is when you pluck a string that would otherwise be a bowed string. So for example, you can see here the violins, they have their bow and you play with the bow and everything, but when you do pizzicato, you instead pluck the string, giving you that very interesting sound that you get from the violins. And we have that going on, and the rhythm of those violins does not match the rhythm of the drums and the synth. And that contrast is giving us the polyrhythm. And even though these are contrasting rhythms, they sound really good. The most popular, the most common polyrhythm out there is the 3/2 polyrhythm, right? So you have one part doing twos, 1 2 1 2, and you have the other one doing threes, 1 2 3 1 2 3. And when you put them together, you have this going on, and right now we are having this to a way more complex degree, but on principle we are just getting some polyrhythms, which is increasing more of that tension. Let's see where this goes. Oh, and we have the other synth. Changing rhythms, giving the variations. Okay, now we're having... Okay, so on top of that, we bring back the brass, giving us that very oppressive melody. On top of that, we are also having another synth coming in, doubling the bass drum. Doubling is when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing at the same time. We're having a rhythmic doubling, playing this, like, very weird, like, almost alien sound to this. This is very fascinating. This is a very fascinating piece. So let me just hear a bit more. Just hear a bit more. So we still have the polyrhythms. Bunch of other rhythms. Alien sounding synth, giving us variation of the melody. Okay, and once this synth came in, everything kind of just aligned back together. We are back to having a single common rhythm. That was really cool. That was a really cool moment. A YouTube video kept playing in the background. Your voice overlapped in this stream. All right, let's see where this goes. So yeah, we stabilize the drum beat. Ooh. Oh my god, it's insane. Why are pianos more expensive than furniture of the same size and mostly the same materials? The mechanism. It's the mechanism. A chair doesn't have this complex mechanism several hundred times in a single one. The strings alone have to be made to the exact measurements, each one of them, for each individual note. Each string in the piano, each note of the piano is several strings. So even though the piano is made out of ivory, wood, and metal, and the other materials like, like foam and whatnot, this is an infinitely more complex mechanism than a cupboard. That's why pianos are so expensive. Like, look at this. Look at this mechanism. This mechanism is for a single key, for a single note. A pianoforte will have, what, something at the very minimum. I think these smaller pianos, you can get like 96 key pianos. What is this? How many keys does a piano have? So a piano has 88 keys. Sorry, I was wrong. So it has a regular piano is going to have 88 keys. So you're putting this mechanism 88 times in the piano, plus the tuning, plus the rest of the acoustics and everything. This is not something that you can assemble from IKEA. This kind of mechanism is not something that you can assemble from IKEA, which is why these instruments are so insanely expensive. Because the amount of craftsmanship and engineering that goes into these is insane. Which is why it's just cheaper to just get a virtual instrument. So yeah, back to this, right? So we're having this really cool variation of the melody now going downwards instead of upwards, which would make it an inversion. A variation of an inverted variation. So inversion being when you flip something upside down. So let's say we have this melody over here. If we invert it, very nice and straightforward. So we're having that going on. Let me hear a bit more. Let's see where it goes. Well, we're having those really cool drums. Speeding up the drums again. And we engage now in a quick call and response style. Call and response is a musical conversation. You can hear it right now. We have one synth starting the melody, bang, bum, and then we have the rest of the accompaniment. We're having that call and response musical conversation, which is one of the beautiful things about call and response. You can really make it with anything. Right now, what is it happening with? We're having a call and response between the lead and the accompaniment. So let's see where this goes. And we're slowly adding more notes to the melody. Man, there's so much going on. We have another synth in the background doing a separate melody. It's either foreshadowing something that is coming in the future or echoing something that happened already. But it's in the back doing a different rhythm altogether, almost like it shouldn't even be there. It still fits because it's adding to this whole very alien sound to this, and it's very fascinating. So right now, of course, we are entirely in the in the electronic elements over here. We're having the drums and bass very much in lockstep with one another. We're having the lead synth doing its thing. Let me see where this goes. Really cool. Alright, the background melody is now matching a little bit more. Really cool melody, a bit more of a glorious variation of the melody. Variations after variations. Still having that call and response between the lead and the percussions. Cadence and... Okay, so we bring back these melodies that were in the background before. Now they get to be in the foreground while we are having, of course, the drums and the bass giving us this almost Doom-like rhythm. This is really cool. Let's see where it goes. Arpeggios. Arpeggios going up and down. Another synth holding chords. We bring back the orchestra to play along with the rest. Oh my god, this is awesome. So now, of course, we're having these big hits of the timpani over here, the timpani being these drums over here, that unlike other drums, like, you know, usually drums are non-pitched, and as in they don't play notes, or the notes that they play are not counted as part of the stuff you're doing. However, the timpani acts as both a drum, a bass drum, and a bass. It's very difficult to write for timpani, so at least for live timpani, for computer timpani, you don't have to worry too much about it. But for live performance timpani, it has a very tricky thing, because as you can see, there's only 4 drums here, and changing the notes for the drums is very difficult. So if you're writing for timpani, you have to take that into account. So yeah. Really cool. And yes, but I think we're gonna have the I think we might have the giveaway first. We'll see. So yeah, let's see where this goes. And what we're having with the orchestra is called some accents. Accent in music, in this case, is for accentuation. Accentuation is when you you're highlighting specific points in the rhythm with other instruments that are not really your rhythm section. In this case, we're having these really cool accents with the orchestra. You know, we're having the strings, the timpani, the brass, giving us those bang, bang from the call, accentuating the call even further so that the response can stay the same. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, we are repeating the same thing we did just now with the call and response. We just introduced the orchestra. I am more than okay with this being pretty much a straight repetition. Really cool. A little bit of an echo. Violins coming in. And I think there's a choir in here now. So we bring in the violins. We might have like some sopranos singing this now, doing some doublings, which is, you know, women, the higher range of women. I think so. Let me hear a bit more. Doing the glorious version of this melody. Inversion. Sequencing of the inversion. So sequencing is another way that you can develop your material, in which you repeat a musical idea from a different starting point, usually a melody. So let's say we have this over here. Very simple. We can just sequence it. We're repeating the same shape. Just from a different starting point. So of course we're doing now an inverted version of the sequencing kind of thing. So, man, this is so epic. I feel like a Neanderthal hearing all this. It's the percussion. The percussion is usually when you get, because I think we're using war drums for the response to the call. War drums very often get that very primitive feeling from people. That is when you bring in the art of orchestration or instrumentation, right? So instrumentation, orchestration is picking the right instruments, the right sounds for the right texture, for the right sound, for the right timbre, and sometimes for the right psychological response. So in this case, war drums are very much something that brings the very primitive sound because, you know, it's one of the oldest instruments that exists. The drum is one of the oldest instruments that exists. For example, when you bring in trumpets, trumpets are a very triumphant sound, but also associated with war. So, you know, it's very much associated with the early stages of war, where you are getting up, where you are preparing for your march or preparing for war kind of thing. The snare drum, for example, is very much associated with marching, you know, for marching out to battle. Then you have stuff like the French horn, you know, the horns, very much used historically for initiating the attack, for charging, that kind of thing. So really, really cool stuff. Let's see where this goes. So we're having this right now with the drums. Polyrhythms again between the bass and the drums. Not quite, no. And we have the other synth giving us new versions of the melody. New variation. With those alien sounds in between. Really cool. New percussion. Accents there. There we go. Introducing the rhythm little by little. I really like the alien sounds. Like, they really throw you off. Which, again, it's Remnant. Remnant deals with a lot of... Like, I played the first one. I didn't finish it because, of course, I didn't. But it has that very cool... sound to it, like it's got an alien theme, like, you know, you're in this world, there's a bunch of aliens and monsters and whatnot. It's insane. Let's just see where this goes. Let's see how it ends. Glorious variation. And we are having a choir. We are having some women's choir over here. So a choir or a chorus, same idea. It's just a group of people singing. We use, of course, the SATB as the standard. Soprano, for soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Right now we're having, I believe, only sopranos. Soprano being the high end of women's vocals, alto being the low end of women's vocals, tenor being the high end of men's vocals, bass being the low end of men's vocals. This is the basic one. Then there's a couple of others, but I want to hear a bit more, so I'm not gonna get into that. So let's see where this goes. So we're having the women's chorus doubling the sopranos, bringing back the drums. Ooh, and the drums now are using a double bass pedal, a double bass drum. So we're now engaging in a little bit of heavy metal over here as the genre. So if you look at a drum kit, if you ever look at a drum kit, let me bring in image from above. We always use this one. Here's the structure of a drum kit, right? So whenever you have... Curva. Whenever you have a drum kit, you will see this structure. So here, this is an electronic one, which is going to be the same thing. So you have here the bass drum, you have here a snare, and you can see the bass drum has this little pedal over here for the foot. This is often called the kick drum because you use your foot, you kick it, and there are setups in which you can get a double bass note pedal, which has a second pedal over here that gives you a second mallet over here to kick the kick drum with, which gives you the ability of having more speed. So you go from the individual ba ba to being able to do something faster, like a tukupaku 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 tukupaku. It really speeds up how much you can play the drums. Then of course we have the snare here, the hi-hat, crash, ride, probably another, this could be like another crash or a splash or a china or anything else. If someone learns drumming with a bucket, will the skills transfer to a kit? To an extent, it is possible. To an extent, it's possible. Because you can learn the different rhythms, then you have to learn how to strike the individual elements more effectively, and of course the mechanisms of like the kick drum and whatnot. Those are also going to take a little bit of time, but it would take less time to adapt. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Welcome back to the channel. Those alien sounds very offbeat. New synth giving a variation. You know what I need to do now? Nice. Alright. Alright, remove everything. We bring back some arpeggios. in the synth. New variation with some chromaticism. A lot of chromaticism. Completely. So now we're bringing in some chromaticism. We're very much getting away from the notes and the chords that we were using, and we're kind of just breaking out of this with this chromaticism. And this, don't know this game. This is basically Dark Souls with guns. It's really fun. Like, the first one is really fun. I didn't finish it because, of course, I didn't, but I really want to, and this is the sequel. So yeah, we're having the melody now. We're having the synth, the violins, and the sopranos now singing together, doing some doublings over here. Really cool. Let's just see where this goes. With the chromaticism, bringing back the brass. Oh, those just letting the trombones and the tubas do what they do best. Those really cool, really oppressive sounds, boom, kind of thing, while the rest is continuing with these arpeggios. It's insane. Let's see where it goes. So yeah, right now everything else is those arpeggios with the extra sounds. And yeah, the other sounds that we're hearing, those alien sounds, those are mainly for texture. They're mainly used for texture. They're not so much used for any chords or any melodies. They are there as percussion, which in music we would call it non-functional harmony. Because even though they have pitch, they have certain notes, they are not there to fit with the harmony that we're using. They're not there to serve the purpose of a melody or a chord. They are there as percussion. So yeah, let's see how this ends. Let's see how this ends. Oh, melody. Yeah, we're having this version of the melody. Final version, I guess. Drums are speeding up. Oh, a little syncopation there. Nice. Ooh, building up that cadence, and we slow everything down for one last tutti, and there you go. We finish it. We bring it all to one last high note. We play that high note. We let the forces, the energy dissipate, and there you have it. My God, what a trip this was. There you go. That was Alepsis Taura from the Remnant to the Dark Horizon soundtrack. Insane, dude. Really cool. Once again, everybody, this has been the Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this in the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you're gonna use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first, whether it is the streams going live, the YouTube videos going up on the channels, updates, projects coming out, anything like that. It all gets announced first. Of course, that's where we also hang out. We steal memes from other servers, claim them as our own. That's where we host the Vintage Story server. Vintage Story. That's where I host it. That's where you can join, linked in the description, so make sure that you join the community today. Also, make sure that you share these videos with your friends, with your families friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share these videos with everybody that you know. Also, use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, linked in the description. That's another reason to join. Look at that. Artists, musicians on YouTube or otherwise. This is an open invitation. If you want any of my musical skills for any of your projects, whether it is my guitars, Mongolian throat singing, the good old ooh, kind of thing, regular singing, voice acting, whatever it is, reach out, let me know, let's make stuff, let's work together. And if you're in the audience and you know somebody that could benefit, reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone, please do not spam anyone, be cool about things, don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions on what to do. If you are on the live stream, you can go ahead and start requesting songs. Requests are open. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 6 p.m. Central Europe. If you don't live in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. So if you live in Newfoundland and Labrador, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch, both linked in the description, and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. We record them live during the streams after show, and the recordings go there. Linked in the description, or just search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you have it. Alepsis Taura, Remnant 2. Really good stuff, dude. That was insane. Really, really good. But yeah, let's move on.